Welcome to Ignite. We're kicking off our special three-part podcast series, I Understand English, but I Can't Speak It. In this series, we'll explore one of the most common struggles English learners face and how to finally overcome it. Ignite is the podcast that provides a science-backed path to move from just understanding English to speaking it with fluency and confidence. I'm your host, Sarah Carter, and I'm delighted to be joined by my co-host, Alex Chen. Welcome to the show, Alex.
Hey, Sarah. It's great to be here. I'm really excited to dive into this topic.
Me too, because over these first 3 episodes, we're going to break down one of the most frustrating problems in language learning, the speaking gap. This episode is called The Invisible Wall, and by the end, you'll understand exactly what that wall is and why it's not your fault.
The speaking gap. I think I know exactly what you mean. It's that feeling where the words are in your head, but they just won't come out, right?
That's precisely it. It's that moment when you know exactly what you want to say, but your brain freezes when you try to speak. And Alex, I know this is something you've experienced personally. Before we get into the science, could you take our listeners back and describe what that invisible wall felt like for you?
Okay, picture this. You're in a meeting, or maybe a job interview. The spotlight's on you. You know exactly what you want to say. The perfect sentence is in your head. You take a breath, open your mouth, and nothing. Just a total brain freeze. You know the words, but they won't come out. An invisible wall? That's the perfect way to describe it. For years, that's exactly how I felt. I could understand everything. Movies, TV shows, interviews, you name it. But when it was my turn to speak, I'd hit that wall and my brain would just buffer. It was such a powerless feeling. So Sarah, let's break it down. From a scientific perspective, what is that wall?
That's the question we're here to answer. At Ignite, we call that wall the speaking gap. And I want to make it clear to everyone listening, if you feel this, you are not alone. This is one of the most normal and predictable stages of learning any language.
That's a huge relief to hear, because back then, I honestly thought I was just bad at languages, or that something was wrong with me. Wait, so you're saying it wasn't my fault, that it's something normal?
Not at all. And that's one of the most important things to understand. If this sounds like you, if you understand English but freeze when it's time to speak, it's not because you're lazy or bad at languages. It's not a personal failure. It's a real, well-studied difference in how your brain works when it understands language versus when it tries to speak it.
Wait, so it's actually a brain thing? I wish I'd known that back then.
Yes, and that's what we're here to give you today. Not empty motivation or recycled tips, but a science-backed step-by-step path to rewire your brain so it stops blocking you, turn your passive vocabulary into fluent speech, and train your mouth, memory, and mindset to finally speak freely.
Mouth, memory, and mindset. I like that. So we're not just going to talk about the wall. We're going to show you how to take it down brick by brick. I learned how to do it the hard way, and we're here to help make that path easier for you.
Exactly. And our journey starts with one hidden barrier most learners don't even realize is holding them back.
Let's dive in. Honestly, looking back, that wall felt like it was made of fear. Even before I opened my mouth, my heart would race. My mind would go completely blank. It wasn't just nervousness. It felt like a full body panic.
That's such a powerful way to put it, Alex. And you're not imagining it. That intense panic doesn't just feel real. It actually changes how your brain functions. The best way to understand it is this. Your emotional state acts like a filter in your brain. When you're calm and confident, the filter is clear. But when you're feeling anxious, embarrassed, or afraid of being judged, the filter gets clogged like it's full of thick mud, and that blocks the flow of language.
So the words were still in my memory, but my anxiety was actually blocking the path to them.
Exactly. This is a well-researched theory from Dr. Stephen Krashen, a major figure in language learning science. He called it the affective filter. And based on what you're describing, that filter for you wasn't just blocked. It was sealed shut with concrete.
Wow. You know, that wasn't the only thing. I also noticed this weird thing. It only happened when I spoke English.
You've nailed it, Alex. That's because it is specific. There's a special kind of fear called foreign language anxiety. It's the fear of being judged for how you sound when speaking a second language. A big part of it is the fear of making mistakes, and that people will think you're not smart or capable.
Whoa, yes, that's exactly how I felt. In my own language, I felt confident and intelligent. But when I tried to speak English, I sounded awkward and slow. It was like I couldn't show people who I really was.
And that disconnect you just described, that feeling that the you who speaks English isn't the real you, is one of the biggest reasons this anxiety is so painful. Researchers call it an identity management crisis.
An identity management crisis. That sounds intense, but it really makes sense.
It feels intense because it's about something very deep. The fear that people will see the simple version of you and think that's all you are.
So I was afraid people would think I really was awkward and not smart.
Exactly. That fear of being seen as less intelligent or capable, just because of a language barrier, is at the heart of this struggle.
And the worst part was, that fear created a vicious cycle. The less I spoke, the worse it got.
You've described the cycle perfectly. That fear leads to avoidance, and when you avoid speaking, your brain doesn't get the practice it needs. That sets up the most painful part, reinforcement.
Yeah, because when you finally do have to speak, you struggle because you haven't practiced. And that just confirms what your brain believed all along. See, I told you, you're bad at this.
Exactly. That reinforcement makes the fear even stronger the next time, and the wall keeps growing taller.
Wow, that cycle is real. I lived in it for years, but now I know why and how to move forward.
And so have millions of learners. But here's the good news, Alex. Once you understand what the wall is made of, you can begin to take it down.
That fear is real. I've lived it, but now I know it's something we can break through. The biggest takeaway today is that the fear you're feeling is normal, and it has a name. Just knowing that you're not alone in that cycle is a big first step. And if you know someone else struggling with this, someone who feels like a failure or thinks they're the only one, please share this episode with them. No one should have to feel that way.
That's right. Now that you understand the emotional and psychological wall, the next step is understanding what's happening inside your brain on a cognitive level. Don't worry, we'll keep it simple and give you a clear roadmap for how your brain handles language.
That's what we'll explore in our next episode. We'll show you why your brain can be an expert at understanding but still struggle with speaking. And we'll introduce the science-backed plan to start bridging that gap.
See you next time. Bye.